everyone's obviously watching what's happening in Ukraine right now. That shouldn't be any surprise about what's going on.
Wait, is there something happening?
So basically, there's 3 predator centers in the globe right now fighting for a new world order. We have our own, and you took all the nukes and put them in one spot together, it still wouldn't be more than the Mount St. Helens eruption in 1986. There's not enough nuclear warheads to even take down the entire United States. We put them all in the United States together.
Really? How many is there?
There's several thousand. But there's only a 10-mile radius on of a nuclear bomb. So does anyone know the square mile, how many square miles are in the United States? It's 3 million square miles in the United States. So if you take 3,000 or 5,000 times 10, that's only 50,000 square miles that the nuclear bombs could cover.
But wind and everything.
But the radiation is what you're here to learn about protecting. So if you're in a blast zone, you're dead. Don't live in a blast zone. And I'll show you maps here of where not to live. You do not want to live in a blast zone.
Do we live in one?
You do not live in a blast zone.
Oh,
I'll show you a
thank
map right now.
Oh, that's the guidebook, right? That video you sent
The
me.
blast zones here. I can pass this around.
Yeah.
So there's 3 targets here in New Hampshire on the seacoast. You have the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard.
Is it still? Even though it's not in operation?
Yeah, it's an operation.
Shipyard.
Oh yeah, my husband worked there.
Oh, okay, my husband thinks it was all shut down.
The Seabrook Nuclear Power Plant. It's not a target,
It's
but
the
you don't want
biggest
to live there.
employer here.
But there's an Air Force base in New Boston, New Hampshire, that you do not. That's a blast zone. That's going to get hit for sure.
How far is it from here?
Yeah.
That's probably an hour away, but we're going to hit with the radiation from here because we're east of it. So you're here to learn about radiation protection. And if you live in a blast zone or know anyone that lives there, my girlfriend actually lives in a blast zone, and I'm trying to get her out of there. She's in where?
Oh, don't say where. Don't say that.
It's in Portsmouth.
Portsmouth is in a blast zone.
Portsmouth is a blast zone?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right next to the
Portsmouth
Navy Yard.
Shipyard.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways,
That's close.
don't live in a blast zone. But the only
But
way
it's
to
not
get us
really a main
missile
target.
silos, can you see all these red arrows here are missile silos. These are
Montana.
all potential targets for the Russians and Chinese. They're gonna get destroyed out here. But every military base is going to be a target. That's their game plan. I mean, if you look at what the Russians did in Ukraine, they just throw a bunch of missiles at the military. The Ukrainians have been fighting, and the Russians have underestimated the Ukrainians' will to fight.
See, I just watched a documentary that said it's not Russia, it's our government doing it, and they're blaming it on Russia. And they had all kinds of evidence.
I think it's half and half. Our government's provoking.
They're not, but they've been doing it since World War
He
II.
smells
Yeah,
blood in the water.
Oliver Stone has
awful.
a documentary out, and you can watch it.
I saw that last night. Is that
Yeah.
what it's about?
I
I
mean,
didn't watch the documentary.
That's a different one, but yeah.
I just
to go
watched
on
it
your
last
point,
night.
we push these Russians and the Chinese into a corner, like we did with
I
Japan
don't know
in
about China,
World
but
War
Russia,
II,
yeah.
in order to get them to attack us. We push them into a corner, so we can't make them attack us, but we push them into a corner, and then they'll end
I'm
up
not touching
attacking
you.
us.
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, poking the bear. I even said I wondered if our government would do it to us and blame it on them. I put nothing past how evil the U.S. government
I'm
is
with
so
you.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
totally.
have here a document to go along with how evil it is that President Clinton signed in 1997
Oh, yeah.
called PDD 60. Has anyone ever heard of PDD 60? It's a Presidential Decision Directive 60, which is, and I have a quote here from Robert Bell, who is in the National Security Council, on what PDD 60 is. This is from a magazine called Arms Control Today, and I put it in the email as well. And you can look at this, and what Bell says is that in this PDD, we direct our military forces to continue to posture themselves in such a way as to not rely on launch on warning. So launch on warning is if you see missiles go up from Russia or China, you shoot your nukes at their missile bases. So basically, all right, to continue the quote, to not rely on launch on warning. So we used to have a military tactic to shoot at their missiles, but our tactic now from this new PDD 60 is, quote, to be able to absorb a nuclear first strike and still have enough forces surviving to constitute credible deterrence.
Wow.
So our
All the family into this, it's okay, but if like only wife and husband not, we ain't
So,
gonna build anything.
so if you have a foot of concrete or a foot of dirt, there's a lot of things that you can protect against that way. And this is just some examples here in the manual of how to protect against it. So in a worst case scenario, you would sort of just get into your basement, go to the part of the ground that has the most no windows and the most dirt around it.
And duct tape all the maybe windows.
Duct tape the windows downstairs at least, yeah, and put some wood in front of the windows in the case they break or something.
How long would you have to do all that?
Maybe a couple hours. It depends
Oh,
how
okay.
fast the wind's blowing.
Or if you do it now, now listen, guys, I gotta tell you, I was thinking, this is crazy, I can't believe I'm thinking like this. Last weekend, I stopped at Home Depot and I got some that thick plastic sheeting and I put windows in my basement. I covered my windows. I said, I must be insane, people are gonna be laughing at me. But I said to myself,
Why
the
would you
people.
They can laugh when they're dead.
Yeah.
The people,
How many people
well,
are going into your basement?
You ask on the street, you think we have nuclear war? They'll think you're crazy.
Not anymore.
Well, I'm just saying, the people in Hiroshima.
There are people that are oblivious.
They
Yeah.
thought, we won't have nuclear war, they were bombed.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
been done before.
Yeah.
So for us to say, in my mind, even if it was 1%, gotta protect what I have. So,
That's right.
my house, I've got plastic sheeting on my windows.
But
Is
it's
it crazy?
Plastic
Yeah.
is okay?
You did all your windows or just your basement?
My
That's
basement.
just to get.
Oh, they might just think you're trying to keep it warmer.
Well, that's the thing, I've got guys come
Yeah,
in
you're
to
just
fix
doing
it,
the
and I'm like,
weatherization.
that's
If
all right,
your
I'm
windows are
just preventing the heat from escaping.
There you go.
Out leaving the house.
Yeah.
But you know what, it's plastic sheeting, it's not, it's just do it. And if nothing happens, none of it happens. Okay, take the sheeting down. Put your plastic sheeting in your basement.
How old is that expression, an ounce of prevention for the pound of cure?
Well,
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt.
again, right, Hiroshima, those folks never thought that would happen, it happened to them. Poor things, poor things.
6
And
million
most of the
Jews never
people
thought it
that
would happen.
died there
Exactly.
didn't know about the radiation poisoning. So 90% of the people that died in Hiroshima could have survived if they knew what's in this manual here to survive. Basically, hunker down. If there's a nuke, you need to hunker down and build the best shelter you can. You can't just go out and think you're going to evacuate to a safer area because you're going to get stuck in radiation most likely, and it's deadly.
And how long? Ish.
So the good thing is, and there's so much lies out there about radiation and nuclear winter and how the world's going to end from a nuclear disaster. The only radiation you have to worry about is from long-term radiation. I'm sorry, is from a nuclear reactor plant. A nuclear bomb, it's 90% dissipates every 7 hours. So within 48 hours, you'd have 99% of the radiation gone.
Oh,
So it's only about 2 or 3 days where you really have to hunker down between in these pictures they have tables with piled a bunch of stuff around the table because the table and the stuff around it, that's solid heavy material, and that's what you want to do is get as much solid heavy material around you as possible because that will block the radiation. So it's only 2 or 3 days that you would do that, and then ideally,
Tim, is that if you don't put plastic sheeting on the windows?
well, you still need the plastic sheeting.
Yes.
The plastic sheeting is only to get so the dust doesn't come in,
Yeah,
but all that dust that's outside, you're still going to get tons of radiation from that.
coming into the house, into the basement wall,
So the radiation penetrates material. So even if the dust isn't in your house, it still penetrates the material. So that's the purpose of having a bunch of,
The thicker layer. you
the
have.
thicker it is, the less it penetrates.
how long will your well water be good? Because wouldn't it go down into the water?
Probably for a while. Berkeys with fluoride filters can actually filter it out.
Okay.
But the good thing is the radiation dissipates. So you could, if you had water stored up.
But I mean, that dust on the ground, would it seep in, like if it rains,
Yeah.
will it seep down
It
and get
will.
in the wells?
Yeah, it will. But let's say you had a bucket, like a big water storage facility outside if you were a farmer or something. All that water's still fine. Even
Yeah.
if there's nuclear ash on top of it,
Right.
it's still fine. It's still drinkable. It's only if the actual physical ash gets into that water, that's when you have a problem.
Okay.
And there's ways to filter that.
And why is that?
Oh, treat it, yeah.
Because radiation only affects organic material. So it only negatively affects us, but it's not gonna affect,
It's not gonna just poison the water.
it's not gonna poison the water unless it's physically in the water. The radioactive, like, whatever you wanna call it, isn't gonna hurt it.
So you're saying timeline, how long, years-wise, are we?
So probably 3 or 4 years until the nukes start flying. I mean,
No, I mean,
Russia and China
once-
aren't ready yet.
The radiation, once it's on the ground, the fallout, so how long?
So every
Well, that's
7
better than
hours, it
tomorrow.
goes down 90%.
Okay.
So it's only a couple of days.
wasn't
Within
even
2 or 3
there.
weeks, you're fine.
You know where you're going, I know.
So
You
these
go
movies
outside.
that
Yeah.
you see about people for years hunkered down in bunkers.
It's government propaganda. That's all it is government propaganda. Because they don't want us to be prepared. They want us in a new world order. They want
Yes.
things to go exactly as they have planned it.
They want us to,
And
They've
they've
sent
done
a
a
big
great job.
agenda in
What's
September.
that?
they want us all to run to the city so they can have.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you just said you think it might happen in 2 or 3 years?
3 or 4 years is when they're ready. They're not ready with their hypersonic missiles yet. They're still building weapons. They're just not ready yet.
Americans not ready, but maybe
Well-
someone else